Saudi Arabia is still one of the keys to the global economy. If those 10 million barrels of oil are somehow taken off the world economy, suddenly the price of oil would be 5 times what it is now.
So, Richard, can I ask you this question? Why in the world would the Saudis not tighten up the oil supply when they're in an economic crisis? Tighten it.
But
make the price of a barrel go up to 60 or 7.
Because they're worried if they take 1 or 2 million barrels off the day, somebody else will step in. So rather than the price going up, the only real effect will be they will lose market share. There's simply, in a funny sort of way, there's no OPEC anymore. They don't have any confidence in any of their neighbors. By the way, the other interests we have in the Middle East, we obviously have an interest that terrorists not set up shop there.
Yeah.
We have interest that nuclear weapons and nuclear materials not proliferate or get into the wrong hands. We have special, I believe, obligations to Israel. So even though the United States...
So you're basically saying about this letter, it's not about petrodollars, it's not about selling arms.
No, it's still a strategic area of the Middle East.
Okay. Is all of this just one more indication of the continuing and constant inefficiency of the United Nations?
Well, the United Nations essentially is not a serious place. The fact that the Saudis are one of the leading members of the UN Human Rights Council, market indicator #1, what they're doing on North Korea. The UN is going to wring its hands, pass a resolution, but it's irrelevant. What really would matter is what the Chinese do. They're the only ones with capacity. The UN is no more. Someone once said about the UN, blaming the UN for the failure of the world to do lots of things is like blaming Madison Square Garden for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I mean, the UN is just a place. Powers don't agree, and in many cases they don't. Say, like in Syria, the UN is
and by the way, coincidentally, about the same amount of people work for the UN as work for the Knicks. You know how many people work at the UN, Mike?
All right.
Do you know how many people work at the UN?
Sorry, I introduced
Richard Haass.
I want an answer. Do you know how many people work at the UN?
1,100.
About a third of them. Richard Haass, thank you so much for so anyway, thanks for being here. And by the way, thank you. You've been talking about the North Korean threat for years now. We've been sleeping through all of your warnings. We will sleep through them no longer. I mean, you look.
2010.
Yeah, 2010. You've been talking about this. This is not a direct threat to the West Coast right now. It could be in the coming years.
Richard, thank you.